It's your man DDP. Sitting here with Chuck Treece in South Philadelphia on Chadwick Street. We're going to talk a little bit today about Philadelphia music present, Philadelphia music future, and Philadelphia music past. Chuck, man, how you doing, man? It's good to see you today, bro. Thank you, thank you. Chuck, man, how you doing tonight, brother?
Great, fun.
Great, man. No doubt about it, we're here at Chadwick Street in South Philadelphia, and one of the most important things that I wanted to talk about tonight was your history here, how you came to Philadelphia, and the early history of your musical career in general. Check it out.
I've been entrenched in the scene musically since I've been a 3-year-old, and been on, this earth for like 45 years now. So I've been entrenched in the essence of Philly as a young boy. Right. 1993 was right when I was doing a lot of work with Joe and Phil Niccolo, Studio 4 on 444 on 3rd Street. Right. That's where I did the Billy Joel track and Amy Grant and a bunch of other things. Those guys were getting solicited to do a lot of remixes for big artists. And so they had a team of musicians, and I was one of the last guys on it, and it was myself, and I brought Scott Storch in, and Cam House, and Andy Kravitz, these were all people that are known. And the Roots were, involved in it only on a live tip as far as that. We didn't really collectively do that much studio stuff together, but I did record on the first Roots record, play guitar.
Yeah, the Organics record, you played on that.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. But yeah, I just was, entrenched in the scene. G-Love was just starting to come around, that was coming in towards like end of '94, but it was just the scene was changing. The big stars now were the undergrounders back then, so it's wild for me to know some of these people.
Do you feel any similarities in the 2009 Philadelphia music scene as opposed to the 1993 Philadelphia music scene?
Yeah, I see a lot of similarities within the music scene back then until now, because it's still about Philadelphia. Right. It's like, and that in itself, like most places, music scenes aren't about the city; they're just about being in the city. Like, when you're in Philly, even if you're a professional person, you get engulfed in what Philly's about, which is just a lot of people here doing great things on an underground level, but everybody's real professional. And now the jobs are coming in bigger here for everybody. But we still grind on a professional level, even if it's underground.
Is it hard to almost explain the tightrope and seesaw that Philadelphia musicians play in the national hip-hop scene? Because, as we know, a lot of predominant hip-hop acts tour with Philadelphia musicians. Man, actually, I would break down and say that in most of them tour with Philadelphia musicians. Yet Philadelphia doesn't get a lot of the mainstream press or mainstream hits that New York per se, Miami, and Atlanta artists do. At the same time, we continue to, as an underground music center, build a style that's all ever changing.
I think it's like the consistency of big money that's coming into Philly right now, especially with the Piazza that's just opened up on 2nd and Germantown here in Philly. It's just like a bigger way for people to just kind of like vibe off of themselves. Right. I mean, that's all this is anyway, you know what I mean? It's just bigger, you vibe off of yourself and you appreciate more. I mean, that's what just rock stars do, and people that are known for what they do and what they love. It's just like how big is your ego, but I mean, how personable is your ego? Is my whole thing. Right. And that
time, it's funny that you talk about ego. I would say, especially in the Philadelphia music scene, it almost gets divided. Where a lot of other cities play off their ego, their reputation. Do you see that Philly is at a point now where we're trying to stop playing off our own egos and what kind of, or genre, or what kind of music that we're making, and maybe start to unify as one? The only reason I say this is because I would say maybe in the last decade, it's almost like Philadelphia has been split into different factions.
Right.
And you know what I mean? I don't mean like I'm just meaning musically.
Right.
It's odd. It's almost like we have different music channels in Philly, except in other cities there's, when it comes down to the actual form of music, there's only one. A generalized sound. There's no generalized sound between the Roots and Beanie Siegel.
Right.
There's no generalized sound between G-Love and Cassidy.
Right.
Do you see that in the actual, in the 2009 music scene, that there's going to be a blend? Is there going to be a blend in the future in Philadelphia?
I think the blend is going to become more of within bands. It's more of a political thing now because everybody's going through this hard crunch, this hard kind of bad dream about money and music and the arts, and then that was always a complaint forever with music and musicians throughout the years,
right?
Good and bad. But now, since money's starting to hit really hard on a level, I think that mentally everybody's on the same page. So you really can't, profess to have an amazing lifestyle knowing that many people are not in that frame of mind, which means that if life is excessive and it's not made out of creation, then there's just a big lack, and that's why people break off into factions.
So you're saying maybe in Philadelphia there was a sense that where the form of music that was making the money compared to the form of music that maybe was the predominant sound, it almost created the divider, man.
Well, no, just people forced a certain sound and a certain way to make records into a formula, and that formula only worked back in the day, but people are quicker on things and genres jump quicker, so it's like when cities don't get together and parlay some of their creative energy locally, it just divides a split within the city because there's no connection. It's just that if once the connection is broader, people working together, then it becomes bigger. Bands will start to utilize each other's ways, but now it's still competition. But once these bands start collabing, like Cassidy with a G-Love or something like that, the scene will start going crazy.
Great.